Oh, le micro était même pas allumé. Je suis là. Bonjour.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Like many of you, I've been playing games as long as I can remember. They're a core part of what makes me who I am. I believe there's this deeply rooted, often unstated mission of games to keep adventure alive. In 2014, Bungie set out to
C'est pas moi les
start a
bandes
new
noires en fait.
adventure. Heroes awakened on a desolate planet.
Par contre, il y a quelque chose que je peux améliorer.
Silent God set in our sky. And it wouldn't be long before an ancient enemy, shrouded in darkness, showed up at humanity's door to destroy us. Over the years, our heroes would shape a story far greater than anything we could have imagined. Players would explore deep into the depths of Venus, hunting a machine god that controlled time itself. They'd invent ways to combine their mythic weaponry and their paracausal abilities to stand alone against monsters that took others, an entire elite squad. They'd race alongside their friends far into the early morning.
Ça, c'est sûr que c'était jusqu'au bout de la nuit.
Where only a select few emerged victorious at dawn, clutching the heart of a dragon. But most importantly, they'd bring their friends and their family into this world, and
Il ne s'agit pas
together
d'un extra
meet new
gameplay.
faces on
Ah
this
bon?
adventure who would become lifelong companions. Now, together, we approach the final shape. We're about to embark on the last expedition of Destiny's first saga. So let's be clear about the stakes.
Il a redit encore.
In the final shape, you will go inside the Traveler. The journey will be difficult.
Ce qui veut dire qu'il y a une seconde.
And what awaits you on the other side of this trek
Salut,
is
salut,
nothing
bienvenue les
less
gens.
than the deadliest entity we have ever faced. There will be no open betas. There aren't going to be any guides on the internet telling you how to handle what's to come. Whether you've been with us from the beginning, joined us somewhere along the road, or are looking at Destiny for the first time, anybody who shows up on launch day is going to be greeted with this same uncharted world, a vacuum-sealed experience, begging
Comme à
for
chaque
you to be
extension
the
pour le
first
coup, non?
person to peel it open. So today is your invitation to go forth
Regarde-moi le live avec
and
le
adventure.
titre. Bah là. Sinon, quand tu vas sur live, tu peux cliquer, il y a les... c'est proposé. Ah, je me tais. Tout à fait, l'autre.
Après toutes ces années, nous n'en avons jamais parlé. Pourquoi je vous ai fait revenir? Pourquoi mon choix s'est porté sur vous? Pour tout vous dire, je n'en savais rien.
Je m'attendais à une révélation de ouf.
C'était juste une intuition.
Oh là là, ça retrace. Le caveau, le Xala, Cosmodrome. Oula.
Mais maintenant, je sais. Après tout ce que nous avons vu,
Je peux te souvenir, c'est vrai.
tout ce que nous avons perdu,
Ça y est.
ce combat est peut-être notre dernier.
Dans Zavala, juste après tout ce que nous avons perdu.
Alors, je vous le demande. Une dernière fois,
Trop stylé là.
relevez-vous.
Oh, oh. Et il y avait toutes les tenues en... C'est quoi cette hache là? Il joue barbare? Il joue barbare. C'est Carlash. Enlève ton casque, Carlash, on t'a reconnu.
This is a momentous time in Destiny history. We've been building to this moment for the last 10 years.
Elle est sympa, je l'aime bien.
The final shape is the conclusion to that journey. This is a moment in gaming that, as a developer, you just don't get very often.
Guardians and allies are fighting the biggest threat that the universe has ever seen in this big culmination of the Light and Darkness saga.
C'est bien que
When
c'est
we were
une
thinking of
version
what the final
sous-titrée.
shape could be, it had to be a lot of different things. It needs to pay off this epic confrontation with the Witness that we've been setting up for years. It has to bring you closer to your allies in the Vanguard. It has to be this place that like
La
makes you
dernière de la
feel
première saga
nostalgic
Active.
for the entire journey you've been on.
When we were resurrected by ghosts at the very beginning of this story, we didn't know why, but it was for this.
C'est pas fermé,
The
quoi.
Traveler is asking us for help, and it's our responsibility to protect every living thing in the universe from what the Witness intends to do.
Le style témoin. Ah, faut que vous
When we
regardiez si
first
vous n'avez pas vu
start
la
the final
cinématique.
shape, we are finally able to go through the portal that the Witness opened in the Traveler at the end
Je
of
la mettrai en
Lightfall.
description de la rediff pour ceux qui avaient en
Inside
rediff.
is the Pale Heart, the Traveler.
Très
That
important.
is the stage for our showdown with the Witness.
Pour savoir d'où vient le témoin.
The Witness has the darkness. It has always had a connection to it. The pale heart of the Traveler is what it's trying to use to gain connection to the light. So with both, it can enact its final shape.
The Witness looks around and sees
pense
a
que ça peut
lack
être
of
comme ça,
purpose,
Alice,
no
avec un gros
meaning.
délai, puis
It
ils
wants to
reviennent.
fix all that. So it's trying to put the universe into this frozen
Peut-être
perfection
avec un
where
3.
everything's just exactly how it thinks it's supposed to be. That is the final shape.
Cette image là, elle est
If
trop
we're going to
stylée.
defeat the Witness,
J'adore.
it's going to take everyone. Failure is not an option.
We're gonna need the Vanguard, all of our allies, and all the Guardians to rally together and be brave in the face of Oblivion.
In the final shape, we're going to answer questions at the grandest scale. But what I find really interesting is that it's also
Ça
a very
fait.
personal journey where we deepen our
Céline.
relationships with these characters that we've known for so long. Zavala, Ikora, our ghost, get to reconnect with Cade 6. So, like, while there's this great conflict and everything going on around us and stakes of just unimaginable heights, it's still at the end a story told around campfires by a bunch of companions who have been fighting together for hundreds of years.
Ils sont bonasses.
In the final shape, we're going through the portal that the Witness has opened up to confront it and stop the final shape. Inside the Traveler is this infinite, vast, unknowable, and we're landing on the Pale Heart, which is a fraction of really what is inside the Traveler.
Oh, avec la
The
musique
Pale
là.
Heart is weird. It's a little strange, it makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, and it is also just so cool and artistic in the best way.
The Witness entered well ahead of any Guardians, and so it's had time to kind of shape what's there. When our Guardian enters, the rest of the Pale Heart starts getting shaped also around what we've experienced.
This is the Traveler recreating the world in front of you as it saw on your journey.
One of the most memorable locales from Destiny's past
Oh, c'est joli.
is the D1 Tower. It's really a labor of love from the Destiny team. The final shape means so much to everyone who's building it, and I think players are really going to be able to see that.
The Pale Heart is our
With
very
Secret.
first linear destination that we've ever done. I would love it if players felt that they began their journey in a place of safety and feel it escalate in danger, in surrealness, because
Sur les
there
visuels, il n'y a rien à
is
redire en
this
tout cas. Hein.
beautiful
Comme toujours.
evolution of the space.
Clairement, l'univers de
They
Destiny est
see
trop beau.
things that are more and more wrong as they begin to go towards the Witness's monolith.
Plus en plus
It
stylé,
kind of this
d'ailleurs.
omnipresent, foreboding thing off in the distance.
The weirdest things happen as you get closer to the monolith in the form of reshaping. Kind of like
Yeah,
deconstructing things and putting them back together just wrong.
the sense of scale you get
Ah, on
out
se
there,
rappelle du
like, as you're
cheval.
exploring these spaces and you're jumping on these reshaped cuboids of Earth.
C'était le début, le
You feel
cheval.
tiny as a guardian. You feel alone. You feel like you are not the force to be reckoned with that you have been. You're not the God Slayer right now. You're just this little person jumping from these massive pieces to massive pieces.
One of the things that we really tried to also capture is that the witness keeps throwing everything it has at you. And so you're going to fight these new enemies, the subjugators.
Tiens,
Subjugators are the new unit you're going to be facing in the final shape.
Je me pensais au tourmentin.
They have an
Hola!
enhanced power set. They're performing stasis powers and strand powers to
La
face the
stase
Guardian,
file obscure
while
à
in
distance.
support of all the other enemies you're fighting too.
They bring something entirely new to the battlefield, which is kind of this element of control.
They're back there pinging away with stasis abilities, throwing crystals at you, freezing you in place, tangling you up.
Ils sont stylés.
We're focusing you on the campaign and only the campaign. It's the most important thing in the universe at that moment. You have to stop the final shape from happening.
And for that, we do need the help with our allies. And so we're going to make sure that the core Vanguard team gets back together. Zavala and Ikora and Cade.
The campaign is just the start of the Pale Heart. After you've reached the monolith and finished the campaign, we open up the entire destination, and so the entire Pale Heart is going to react to you and what you are doing.
C'est ça. Je teste les alertes, c'est bien.
The campaign in the final shape doesn't really end with the final mission. The raids are where you defeat like the big bosses. So it's only natural that when you are going to confront the witness, you're going to do that in the raid. But that might not be enough. This is a moment where we need to rally our guardians to be able to overcome the final shape and the witness.
Oh, c'est trop beau.
In the final shape, we are inside the Traveler.
Je sais que c'est parce que tu m'aimes plus.
Very close to this energy. This allows us to have new supers.
Lui, ils le prennent juste pour qu'il fasse les bruits. Il bosse plus là.
We want to create something that turns you into an offensive powerhouse, but also can benefit your allies in a support capacity. There is this thread of team play and like working with your friends to overcome the odds.
Oh la hache là, je suis
contente.
contente.
This ultimate expression of solar energy coursing through your Guardian. This solar Warlock super is a callback to Radiance from D1.
Other than Golden Gun, this is the only other first-person super in Destiny right now. Your melee's
Voilà, ils l'ont pris que pour
these
ça.
projectiles going off, doubling the amount of projectiles. Your grenade almost being sentient as it searches around, and then it hits a character and bounces off and goes to another one. And you're so overflowing with this energy that you are also giving it to your allies, allowing them to have their solar weapons supercharged, applying Scorch when they're shooting.
The new solar Warlock aspect, when I cast my Rift, it is going to create this little solar soul that when it sees an enemy, it launches part of itself out and hits the enemy and explodes and scorches them.
It just feels very alive.
Sympa, hein?
Twilight Arsenal. It's a layered super.
This is the only ranged one-off offensive super for Titans in the game. The Titan jumps up into the air, summons this giant void axe, throws it, summons another one, throws it, summons another one, looks at a different group of enemies, throws it. And when these axes fly through the air, they stick into the ground or an enemy, do their void gravity thing where they suck a bunch of energy and enemies in and then explode. But that doesn't destroy the axe. The axe sticks around and you and your allies can go and pick up that axe and start wailing on enemies.
Ah non, vous me volez pas ma hache,
super
hein.
is insane to me.
The Void Titan aspect, I press and hold my grenade button to consume my grenade and turn it into the shield. The more damage it takes, the more it charges up, and then I can release that, and it creates this blast that deals massive damage.
J'aime ça.
the hunter arc super.
Arc is all about finding the shortest distance between 2 points. The hunter kind of rears back, takes this knife and throws it across the world, and then is able to blink to its position, do the slash that just decimates anyone nearby.
One really great thing about that is not just
Son
you do
style, elle
it
est
once,
nouveau
but you're
pour
able to
nouveau
do
pour,
it
hein,
3
nouveau super.
times, along with devastating attacks each time you do it.
The hunter has an aspect. We take our staff, we
Du coup,
put
la
it in
hache,
the
tu
air,
peux l'envoyer
which
à un
propels us
pote en
upward.
raid.
It creates this burst, which
Ouais.
amplifies you and any
Chaque fois,
allies
limite.
near you.
It almost makes it feel like you're playing a fighting game, right? Like these combos that you're chaining together to do these different moves. It like takes that sandbox to the next level.
The more aspects we have, the more capable we are to do that.
It feels like you're like riding the lightning, you know? Like that instantaneous, like...
That was good, but I think it's more like, you know?
I like it, I like it.
Tu as un petit frisson de gêne quand même.
Weapons team has been working on all sorts of goodness.
Il
We've
force.
got
La première fois, il forçait pas les
exotics,
sons,
we've
mais
got
là...
legendaries, we've got perks. We're always cooking up stuff. We're always playing with stuff that we think is like really interesting or
Son
taking
stylé, hein, les
inspiration. We have Tessellation, which is this exotic pyramid fusion rifle. It has the really intriguing property of adapting your guardian's current damage type.
This will be the first time that you can run a weapon that can adapt to be strand or stasis in the energy slot. So you'll be able to run an entirely strand or entirely stasis loadout. Tessellation has the additional property that you can special reload to reshape your grenade and suck it into the weapon, and then fire out a super destructive single projectile. It's a really special weapon.
What's the one specific exotic that I can make that's like really zany
Je
that
pense
you
qu'on
would
va garder
like
le
right
même format de
now?
contenu, hein,
What if
pour le coup.
Golden Gun was a sniper rifle?
What if you could harness
S'ils ont envie de
the might
changer,
of the
ce sera
Traveler?
plus pour
You know, we had a moment
un
where
truc
we
futur,
saw
tu vois.
that Traveler beam cutscene.
Je pense.
I know people on Weapons went, I kind of want that. You're like, that is incredibly
Pas oublier
dope.
qu'ils préparent ça depuis longtemps, quoi.
So we've got this opportunity to bring back these iconic
Depuis
Destiny
hier.
1 weapons, but really turn it into something that feels unique in Destiny 2.
We have to bring Kvatstab into the fold.
The
La Costa.
Red Death exotic pulse
Oh, mon
rifle.
rouge,
And
mon
Dragon's
arme... mon arme de
Burn the world,
Destiny.
burn it
hein.
all.
Ah oui?
In the final shape, we
Ah,
have
rouge.
new weapon subfamilies coming, broadening what existing weapons
Ça me
can
plaît.
be.
Really like bordering on exotic functionality. So for example, we've got a rocket pistol sidearm subfamily. We always liked the special ammo sidearms. This fires tiny, slow-moving rockets. They hit very hard, do a bit of AoE damage. They have a mixture of regular weapon and rocket launcher stats. We're also doing a new support weapon subfamily.
The support frame auto rifle is a type of legendary auto rifle. It'll let you switch seamlessly from firing at enemies to healing your allies. I'm really excited to bring it to dungeons and keep my team
T'imagines en
alive,
raid, tu
honestly.
tires juste sur tes potes.
Weapons team is
Tu deviens
always
full
coming up with new
healer.
ideas. We've got a ton of new cool stuff coming over the next few years, and some new and really wild ideas, which we're pretty excited about.
Come on, take a load off. We've got a lot to cover. This place is only big enough for one dashing hero type, and that's me, so... I'm back! Hey, you two, give me a sec. I was magnificent. This is great. Anyone want a hug?
Rien que pour le revoir.
Get your rock off my map.
C'est
Worst
totalement
case
fan
scenario,
service, mais ça
you
me plaît.
die. But who knows? Maybe you won't. Well, better get back to it.
Le meilleur, mais oui.
In this moment where we're driving to the end of the Light and Darkness saga, it's great to see Cade like return to this world at this moment with all this change about to culminate with this confrontation with the long-standing enemy, the Witness.
Cade is the quintessential hunter. His presence casts such a long shadow over the story of Destiny, whether it was when he was alive or when he was dead.
What Cade goes through in this journey,
Est-ce qu'il y a
how he
d'autres
serves as a
personnages qui écrivent dans
catalyst
le
for
jeu?
the other characters, the events that are uncovered to have brought him back. This is how the story had to end. There was no end to the Light and Darkness saga that didn't have Cade here alongside his friends to finish the job.
Once we started digging into the nature of the Pale Heart. I think that crystallized Cade's role as a guide. Cade is Virgil, and he's our guide through this other place. Cade is the one who is the most appropriate person to be the guide, because that's his job. That's always been his job. It just feels so natural for Nathan to be back in the booth. It felt amazing to just see him slip back into the role, like, without missing a beat.
Right, instantly.
In the flesh, or metal, as it were.
Cade's the glue that's always held Zavala and Ikora together. Having him back puts them in a position of questioning where they've been and what they've done without him.
You think about the journey that Zavala's been on
mais
and
il
how
était sous
he's
l'emprise
been
d'un
taken down this
démon.
dark path.
Il
You think about
idiot.
the weight that's been on Ikora, having to hold the Vanguard together,
C'est pas
having Cade's
pareil.
voice of
Non, j'ai eu
levity
beaucoup de débats
and
avec Link
brightness
là-dessus.
that he brings
Chaque fois qu'on
to
joue.
that group. That I think
Et
is
qu'on
going to
croise
be great for them.
Ultrain.
Well, at least we have each other.
We want people to take away that
Ah ouais,
sense
mais
of
je préfère
reunion
Cade.
and that idea of like the gang being back together for this moment.
I'm here now. Wherever the hell here is.
Retue-le. Oh là là. Ils ont mis des chapitres.
Le témoin représente une menace directe.
Là, en français.
Et la reine sorcière détient les réponses que nous cherchons.
C'est le variant.
Mais seulement si nous affrontons sa sœur.
Iris.
C'est donc à moi que cette tâche.
Du coup, c'est la saison, ça.
Pensez-vous pouvoir en revenir? N'ayez crainte.
Bah voilà, le variant.
Apportez-moi vos tribus. Maniez
Pardon.
désormais la magie de la ruche. Entrelacée avec votre lumière.
Nom de Zeus.
Attaquez la flèche gardien. Et ouvrez la voie à nos tribus. Faites-leur connaître la peur. Je les appelle le jeu des murmures. Et oui, elles murmurent. Combattez en mon nom. Chaque adversaire vaincu me renforce.
Ça me plaît, hein. C'est plus hypant que la saison de la résistance, quoi, par exemple. Ouais. C'est horrible. Mais non. C'est vrai que les plongées profondes, j'en avais plus que marre. Mais et pourtant, j'en ai pas fait 4000.
Vous méritez la plus grande mort que je puisse offrir.
Trop bien. Saison de la sorcière. Ça me plaît. De toute façon, bah, la reine sorcière, c'était trop bien.
Season of the
Ils peuvent
Witch is our
difficilement se
opportunity as
tromper avec la
players.
saison de la
We've been
sorcière.
annihilating and breaking Hive's spells, and now we finally get to cast them.
At the end of Season of the Deep, we learn that Savathun
Yep,
has
yeah.
the key to getting into the portal that we need to go into. That means we have to go find Imaru, her ghost. Imaru's like, not so fast. We've got a bigger problem first. And that bigger problem's name is Zivu.
Elle présente bien, la fille, là.
If we fight her, she only gets stronger. Eris has an idea. It's a really
good
It's a wild ass
Raconte bien
idea.
l'histoire.
Yeah. She determines like, well, the best way
Tout à
to
fait
fight
bon.
fire is with
1er
fire.
septembre.
We are channeling all of that energy that we're creating by going through, by eliminating enemies, and we're tithing to our friend Eris.
Bring me your tithes.
Non,
What does
c'est
it mean for the
stylé.
characters and the player to kind of like
peut-être
be
le temps d'aller
like
tester,
Savathun? And that's where we went down the path of having Hive
Mr.
Eris.
Chief.
We want to extend that magical fantasy into the player then. That ability to have overwhelming magical
faut pas
powers,
que le
that
serveur
risk
ait
and
des problèmes.
reward into all of our
Day
activities
one.
and systems experiences. And so that's what led us to come up with things like Deck of Whispers.
J'aime bien
This
ça.
magical deck of cards that creates amazing synergies with your buildcraft meta and with buffs and the activities.
They can then choose these cards at will, whichever ones they want, and then that really leans into the
Ok, il y en a pas mal.
You actually are getting cards that you can then use to place on the battlefield and change the way you play.
I'm such a sucker for deck building. Like being able to like bring that element into Destiny gameplay has just been like, oh, chess
it's
really
super
fun.
Ils sont très jolies les cartes. De toute façon, j'arrête pas de dire que c'est joli, mais clairement.
So we've got two brand new seasonal activities coming with Season of the Witch. We've got Altars of Summoning and Savathun's Spire.
Savathun's Spire is our new 3-player offensive.
Je préfère
You're
pêcher
doing a lot
Raxkel.
more with the Lucent Hive magic, but it's got a high amount of combatant density. It's got additional random encounters that you can come across.
The Witch's Spire itself, Savathun's Spire, was like her reliquary for all these different magical experiments as she was learning the light. You're there in order to learn as much as you can in order to become a master spellcaster, right? To become like Savathun. The Altar of Summoning's activity is really exciting because you can spend like 20 minutes in it or you can spend 2 hours.
Ah bon, bah, on
It's
va
a
pas tester
3-player
juste après alors.
experience that you can hop in and hop out of. As you're going through this activity,
Demain.
you're filling the tithing bucket. As that tithing
Après
bucket is
l'open
filled up,
level.
you'll get progressively more rewards. And then finally at the end, it'll cash out and you'll get a whole mess of rewards.
Mais j'ai pas envie de rester 2 heures dans une activité. Vous avez
We
envie
really
vous
wanted to make sure that there was a home for any exotic mission content coming in
Pour voir.
seasons after the year has passed. And so we developed what we're calling the Exotic Mission Rotator.
Right away, we're getting Presage, Vox Obscura, and Operation
Tu fais ça en matchmaking, 2
This is
heures.
some of the most fun content the team has making. It's some of the content that the fans and players of Destiny love the most. The most exciting thing, outside of just the missions
peux pas le
themselves,
caler en deux,
is that
quoi.
every time we put a mission inside of that
Ouais, 20 minutes, 2 heures.
rotator, the exotic that comes alongside of it will become craftable.
Ouais, mais le raid t'as prévu et ça varie
With
pendant
Season
les
of the
2
Witch,
heures,
we
tu
have a
vois.
brand new Vex
Faut voir.
lo-fi PvP map coming. It's really exciting. It's got a bunch of really tight gameplay
Ça sent bien la map.
experiences. We wanted to make sure that we focus the combat a little bit more. With the new Vex network map, we really wanted to make sure we hit. It's
Une
like,
map tous les 6
you're
ans.
shoulder to shoulder more often. There's not as much deep sight lines that you're
Il y avait une
interacting
map
with.
tous
And a
les
lot of
6
the
ans.
flow of the map is actually built around this like kind of central pillar of the Vex network that you're orienting around.
And there's also some modes coming too, right?
We've got a new PvP game mode coming that's all about relics. It's about multiple relics, so it's not just one like the Scorch game mode from the past.
Ouais, je pense que
So
oui.
we've got the shield coming from Vault of Glass.
Oh.
We've got the spear back from Season of the Risen.
And we got the scythe from Season of the Haunted.
Yeah, so you're going to be reaping Guardians with that thing. It's a lot more tactical gameplay. It's all about running around the map, claiming these relic dispensers, and then grabbing them in order to push for victory.
I will take what I
Peut-être, hein.
need. The words in
Salut,
my
Sarah.
throat are the weapon in my fist.
No
We were
spoil.
feeling pretty Hivey this season. Obviously, there's something in the air.
Semblait.
And so when thinking about like what's a good raid reprisal that would really suit this very Hivey season, there's only one answer.
On pourrait essayer de faire le début. Hein.
J'ai vu celui que la ruche appelle un dieu.
Moi j'aime bien Copter, mais bon après, je sais que ça, les gens voulaient retrouver l'arrière, mais ça va venir. En vrai, ça fait quand même plaisir. Au final, il faut tous les revoir. C'est ce qui est important. Je trouve ça cool de revoir Copter. Et puis ils peuvent l'avoir modifié de telle sorte que ce soit.
Seule une véritable arme de lumière peut mettre un frein à sa colère.
Raiders defensive.
Merci Lou.
Enjoy your stay.
C'est plus logique avec les thèmes de la saison, tout à fait. Go le faire ça. Alors le problème c'est, j'ai même pas vu, mais c'est 1er septembre, on est d'accord, parce que moi 1er septembre je serai sur Starfield du coup. Merci beaucoup Lilou, j'espère que ton live s'est bien passé. Bienvenue les gens.
want to rally all Guardians at the end of the Light and Darkness saga. We want to reduce those power barriers as well as catch people up on key story beats
Oula,
and
on
make
veut
sure
réduire
that
les
they have
limites
a
de
really
puissance.
great and easy
Il voulait
time
briser
connecting
les
with
barrières
other
liées à la
players.
puissance, c'est ça qu'elle a dit. Le sous-titre était bizarre.
In the final shape, we're trying to find ways to make power more simple and easy to understand and also lowering
Nice,
the
Lilo.
barrier to entry.
It's going to make it easier for players who have
Très
not
bon
been able to jump into game
easily because they were held back by the challenges
c'est
in
Dragon Age
grinding
Origins,
for the
donc.
power levels that are required by these different activities.
One of the major changes that's going to be happening starting with the final shape is there are going to be a certain number of activities that are going to be power fixed. So it doesn't matter kind of what power level you are going into it, you're always going to be able to approach it. There's still going to be tiers of difficulty that you can do, things that are just meant to be experienced a certain way.
Things like Nightfall strikes that will still have power enabled, and that's where we're really going to focus the whole power climb.
The raids, the contest modes that everybody loves to engage with, that experience is fundamentally going to be staying the same.
I'm excited for this because I
Je sais
think
pas,
there'll be a
ça
lot
fait une
more
part de
clarity
grind,
for
mais
players in terms of understanding the relative difficulty of things, where they sit now in the spectrum.
One way that we're trying to do that is making it easier
C'est
for
génial.
new players to engage with you. So we're introducing something that we're calling Fire Team Power.
You can actually bring your friends along to
En
play
fait, ce qu'il y a, c'est qu'ils
any
le font pas dans
Dungeons and
le
Raids
sens
in the
que
game
toi tu dis,
without
Elite.
having to wait them to
C'est
be
parce
at a
qu'ils
certain
veulent que les
power
nouveaux
level.
puissent
The
rejoindre.
person with
Mais
the highest power
les
in
nouveaux,
your
faut aussi
fire
qu'ils
team is
découvrent
actually
le jeu,
going
je
to
trouve.
bring all the others close to their power
Et là,
level,
tu vois, c'est en
which
mode
means that
PL,
there's
un
no
peu.
barriers really
Genre, ça
for
s'ajuste
any
au
other
plus puissant.
guardian to join you in this high level content.
Alors que ce que
Combining
devrait faire la
Fire Team
personne qui est
Finder
au
also
level,
allows
c'est
you to
juste
find strangers, people you've
accompagner
never
ses
played
amis
with
dans
before
leur
and have that same
progression.
experience. That's all regardless of the power level of you and the rest of the people in your fire team.
Fire Team Finder is the new feature that's coming in Season 23, aimed at helping connect and find other people to complete the
très
best
fan
and
du,
most aspirational content in
T'es au level et
Destiny.
du coup
We
les
have
autres sont au même
a
level.
tag system that allows
Mais après, le
players to
grind, il y
be
a
able
moyen
to
que ce soit
say,
plus
well,
intéressant
this
aussi,
is my
tu vois.
playstyle,
Mais bon.
I'm really chill, I'm anti-sweat, I'm just really here to have a good time. Exactly.
Tags really allows players to show a little bit more personality, show a little bit more about what they're about. I think what's
Après, tu vois,
really
il peut
great
y avoir
about
une
it is
pitié
with
par rapport au
this
fait que
launch,
t'arrives
we're
pas à
also
choper ta
looking at
pièce, ou
including
il peut y avoir le fait
inclusion
d'orienter
tags. As an
vers une
example,
pièce en
one of the
particulier. Ils
inclusion
ont déjà
tags
fait
that
des
we
trucs dans
have
ce
are
sens-là.
for colorblind players. Hopefully the inclusion tags will bring players closer to finding their community and even closer to the people that they're playing with. So once a listing goes live, players will be put into a listing lobby where players can gather, they can communicate with each other. So we wanted to make it as convenient and as easy as
Oui, voilà, avec
possible
un
for
forme
players
ciblée.
to not just sit and stare at a screen
Oh, mais ça
for a
tellement
long
vous
time while their listing
Il manque
actually
tout un
builds
pan
up.
du
As a
jeu et
gamer
je trouve ça
who's
trop dommage.
typically more
C'est-
solo, I'm especially excited about this because it really is about helping reduce that anxiety and burden that
Ça
comes
c'est
with
bien parce
trying to
qu'on
make a
on
new
croit pas comme ça, mais il y a beaucoup de joueurs qui osent pas aller jouer avec d'autres. Parce qu'ils ont peur qu'on les juge sur leur niveau, sur quelconque chose.
The feature
C'est
coming
bien
out
s'ils essayent
today
d'un
that
petit
I'm
peu. Mais
incredibly
bon,
excited
faut
about
que les joueurs
is
soient
Timeline
réceptifs. Mais...
Reflections. Essentially what we have done is we've went back to previous expansions and pulled out missions that we felt really represent key narrative beats within our story. We are going to have a mission for Forsaken, mission for Beyond Light, as well
De
as a
fou.
mission for Witch Queen.
Absolument, t'as pas la première campagne du jeu par exemple.
The neat thing about these missions is
T'as
they're
pas la
not going to be
mort de
like
Cade.
one-to-one for how you would experience them in the campaign. You're also going to get additional pieces of narrative fed to you to like identify like, hey, this is why it's important
Renégat
that
est
this
plus dans le jeu.
happened, and here are the people you met along the
quelques
way.
armes.
A really big one that's really timely for Final Shape is Cade's last stand from Forsaken.
Ah, ils en parlent justement.
This is a moment that a lot of players, new and old, are going to come back to Destiny. I think this is just the right time to introduce features that are going to allow those players to jump right in and find people to play with and enjoy this content regardless of their power level.
Donc ils ramènent quand même quelques contenus, justement, parce que enfin, ça manque.
We're reaching the end of this 10-year journey. What comes next?
The episodes. And the new way we're going to tell stories moving forward.
What's really important about episodes is that it's a really big shakeup to what we've been doing. Instead of providing 4 seasons a year, you are going to get 3 larger episodes. And so the first 3 episodes in this coming year are called Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy. It's coming right after the final shape. And the theme for the year is going to be all about the consequences and aftermath of the final shape. I think what's really the cornerstone of the episode model that we're building is the 3-act structure. The acts act as these anchors for us to introduce new weapons, new artifact mods, new activities. There's going to be new missions coming around the core. There'll be new story moments in every single one of these acts. We're actually providing more cinematic styled experiences throughout the final shape year and the episodes with it than any of the seasons we've ever developed before.
These new stories are actually playable as standalone. Like each episode is something you can experience whether you've been playing Destiny for 10 years or this is your first one.
you're going to be able to basically enjoy them in any order you want to.
I think the opportunity with this big epic moment
Du coup, il reste.
is that we get to innovate the
Il a dit
game.
dans
We
n'importe
get
quel
to
ordre.
move the game forward.
It's all about
Parce que les saisons
change
aujourd'hui, elles disparaissent à chaque fois.
frequently. It's all about deeper story moments. It's all about more weapons, more loot, more often. And it really provides the team with a platform to go much deeper into the themes and fantasies and story of any individual episode as compared to the seasons you know of today.
I'm so excited to see what the narrative team can do with this kind of new platform of storytelling. Episodes provides this awesome foundation for the future of Destiny.
We're moving into the next stage of Destiny 2. I think some people look at the final shape and they think Destiny 2 is coming to the end. And in many ways, it's the opposite. We're leaning in. We're putting the pedal to the metal. Episodes provide us a new, innovative way for players to engage with Destiny 2 throughout the year.
Qu'est-ce qui fait de nous des gardiens? Dévouement, courage, sacrifice. Nous avons été choisis pour une raison, par quelque chose de plus grand que nous.
Gardien. Gardien.
Attention,
Attention, gardien.
Plus de saison.
Forgés par les flammes de chaque nouvelle bataille, nous sommes façonnés pour être prêts à lutter dans le combat qui nous attend. Nous sommes la dernière ligne de défense pour empêcher une deuxième chute.
Nous tous, chaque titan, chaque arcaniste, chaque chasseur.
Quelle est la devise des gardiens? Le dévouement inspire le courage. La bravoure incite au sacrifice.
Le sacrifice mène à la mort.
La ligne qui sépare la lumière des ténèbres est si mince.
Franchissons
Pour toi, cette scène, Lynn.
Il y a des choses dans le noir que seules les ténèbres peuvent vaincre. Croyez-moi.
Vous connaissez les histoires? Le sacrifice du voyageur. Les ténèbres qui s'abattent sur l'humanité.
Notre objectif est d'y mettre fin.
Le plus ouf, c'est que le témoin,
Il n'y a aucune issue.
il pense pas faire du mal. Enfin, c'est parti d'un truc en mode on veut juste. C'est ouf. Les mots malveillants.
It's going to be an exciting year for Guardians. We get to make good on a promise that we made way back in 2014. There was classic rock blasting, a fire team racing across our solar system, and at the end, a simple message: become legend. Today, you got a glimpse at how we'll be cementing your legend in this upcoming year. We're going to be heading inside the Traveler, experiencing a destination unlike anything we've ever built before. We'll face the biggest bad we've ever made, and we'll do this all alongside a streamlined progression system, allowing us to easily play with friends in any content in the game. And as the dust settles in the final shape, we're going to continue our legends in Echoes. It's Destiny's first episode in a new phase of storytelling for Guardians with brand new conflicts born from the resolution of the Light and Darkness saga. These first episodes are just the beginning. But if you're chomping at the bit to see how the Light and Darkness saga is going to kick off the future of Destiny 2, we've got a ton of great content for you to jump into today. Going live after this, we've got Season of the Witch, with a new story, new weapons, new armor, new activities, and new PvP content, all alongside a series of story catch-up missions, allowing any of your friends to jump into the game and get up to speed on what's happening in this world.
Bon, par contre, la saison de la sorcière, elle a l'air cool.
Next week, a brutal reprisal of Crota's End is going to join the ranks of our aspirational content.
Mais ce sera en même temps
I can't wait to see you all in the throne world as we learn more about the final shape.
Final shape, ce sera stylé, je pense. Après, clairement, la boucle de gameplay. Faut voir le truc des épisodes, comment ça va amener. Parce que là, on a eu juste un un diapo, mais faut l'expérimenter, le vivre pour voir si c'est mieux que les saisons, parce que c'est quand même similaire. Peut-être moins long. Ah oui, les pouvoirs sont très stylés. Les nouveaux super sont forts. D'un point de vue PvE, bien entendu. Du coup, yes. Pour moi, c'est la conclusion que j'aurai, en tout cas. Pour ceux qui vont me demander mon avis. Relation d'édition collector. C'est pas fini. C'est que c'est beau, c'est stylé, c'est l'univers Destiny comme on aime. Après, faut pas s'attendre, je pense, à un rework du gameplay qui...
try and recreate items from the universe for players to enjoy outside of the game. So this year we're doing a Destiny 1 tower.
Ça faudra attendre un autre
really tried to
Destiny pour
work
voir ça se
hard
passe.
at thinking about 10 years
C'est
of
la tour!
Destiny and how
Vous
best
savez qu'il y a la
to
tour sur la map
encapsulate that experience.
Even as a game dev who've worked on it since day one, like I think having it be the tower is super exciting for us because it's going to kind of catalog your journey of a player from when you first started playing Destiny.
Parce en tout cas, je suis toujours prise par l'aspect lore, les cinématiques, il y aurait beaucoup de cinématiques.
You get the tower, and then there are actual figures of the Vanguard mentors that accompany that architectural model.
And there's a lot of like hidden messages and hidden things.
There's gonna be some fun surprises. We're always trying to push the envelope. And so we've been playing a lot with magnetic locks and sound effects, and lights, just sort of make this experience as a whole really special. It's sort of the perfect symbol of Destiny. I'm so excited for it.
Comme je dis, je passe toujours un bon moment sur Destiny, quoi. Après, je peux comprendre la lassitude des gens qui justement font leur main game et ils passent vraiment énormément de temps. C'est le game as service, c'est pas facile, quoi, comme format. Et en vrai, rester tout le temps sur le même jeu, ça demande beaucoup de taf, hein, sur de la part des équipes. C'est plus difficile de satisfaire tout le monde. Et de continuer à apporter du contenu. Mais du coup, je comprends pour ceux qui ont une certaine lassitude. Je sais plusieurs fois, j'aime m'accrocher. Pour le coup, perso, quand je joue à Destiny, je surkiffe, quoi. Genre, il y a un truc. Dès la première fois que j'ai joué, ça a été... C'est comme ça. Ça a été l'étincelle et ça ne s'en va pas. Je m'amuse toujours à jouer à Destiny. Clairement. C'est quoi le post-show? Ah, le QWERTY. Mais ouais, on en parlait l'autre jour, le game as service, c'est quand même très particulier. Hein. Diablo, on subit un petit peu les affres en ce moment. Clairement, dès le début, plutôt que Destiny. C'est après le show. C'est comme le show, mais après. Quelle commu. Quelle commu. Oui, je le fais avant 2024. Je pense que je vais couper là et que je vais faire une rediff de ça. Parce que je pense pas qu'ils fassent des annonces de fou dans le post-show. Mais du coup, on va peut-être le regarder, hein, ma foi. En tout cas, voilà, n'hésitez pas, ceux qui regardent à me dire vos avis, toujours dans le respect, bien entendu. Et on sera sur tout ça dès que c'est disponible. Alors, selon les autres sorties aussi, hein, comme j'ai dit, par exemple, Cropta, je vais pas le faire parce que... Enfin, je vais pas le faire tout de suite, en tout cas. Parce que je serai sur Starfield, donc pas tout faire en même temps. J'aimerais pouvoir me dédoubler, ce serait pratique. Voire triple. Triple serait pas mal. Ce serait encore plus pratique.